Okay, so as I mentioned, just watch out that some things that are appearing in the videos are not exactly mentioned in the lecture. Okay, so just be aware of that. There's some level of complexity that I'm adding to. For example, here I did not solve these details that I did solve here. It's an issue of editing your slabs and incorporating these rectangles all along. Okay. So again, I sometimes often simplify the process. So we're going to create these beams first. So we're going to add beams in Gym, Atrium, and Lab, and we're going to add it to the first floor slab. Okay, so we're going to go to the first level. We're going to add concrete beams spanning from column to column along the grid lines. Okay, so process very simple. Beam. We might have the beam, we might not have the beams, the white planes, the concrete ones. So we're going to load a family, and that family is going to be called concrete rectangular beams. Okay, then they're going to be located on grids. Let's say finish. So let's do that. First thing, where are the beams located? Well, they're located in the first floor, as we said. You might want to go to the first floor composite. Some of you might be having another view, like a duplicate detailing, and you might want to call it like correctly rename and something like work here. So you could work all your first floor over here, and the one that you drag into the sheet is actually this one. So it's the clean one. This is the working station area. So it could be a bit more messy. Okay, beams, structure, beam, and I checked whether I have the beams that I'm interested in. I only have the white planes. Well, it's not enough. I need the concrete one, so I'm going to say I don't have it here. Let's load the family. You automatically go to this window and you just search for structural framing. No? Say open, concrete rectangular beam. Say open, and we expand. Let's see which ones we have by default. 12 by 24. This again is the X and Y of the section, vertical and horizontal. And we have also the 1632. Well, right now I'm going to locate the 1632. It doesn't really matter, as I mentioned before. Why? Because I have to change them all depending on the span. Okay. So what I'm going to say is on grids, and I'm going to select all the grids where there's a beam. And I'm pressing here Control. I only want to select the grids that I really want the beams on. So I think the 1.6 is not one, neither the 6.4. So it's basically the center and all the ones that come in this direction. Let's say finish and see how that looks. Go to the 3D. As you can see, if I selected this grid, is also incorporating beams here, which we could actually leave them, but right now we want to do that building alone. Another thing we could do is I'm going to Control C, go back to there, and do the whole thing for now, and then fix it right after. So I'm going to say on grids, select all the grids all together. It's going to take a little more time. We don't want this perimeter one, so Shift select, so they're not there. I don't want another one here, neither here. Those two don't need. Okay, I don't need one here either, nor here, nor here, nor here. So basically the perimeter grids are not necessary. Okay, I'm going to say finish. Something I mentioned before is that you should save as every step so we know exactly, if this passes like it could right now. Another sign that says unjoined elements, here's one element inside another one, is sometimes you will be created a beam between the column and the wall in this very small space. So we just say unjoined elements, and we'll see what that means. I'm going to skip that 3D. Now I have all my beams properly placed between columns. So that thing that I was saying, you see how this little detail there, that I can step on top of that? You might have that, you might not, depending on actually the computer. But you know, you want to get rid of these guys. So what I normally do, let's see if I have some of them here. See, there's another piece there. So those normally are to be deleted. Right now, if you want, you can leave them there. But what you could do is actually go to wireframe here, and using the 3D view, start deleting all those pieces. I'm pressing delete after selecting. You obviously want to select with care so you don't delete other things that could be important. So again, I'm going to the perimeter. I didn't want a beam here, so I'm deleting that one as well. So some work in 3D sometimes is good. I'm deleting all those small guys here as well. You see again, those pieces out, delete. It's a cleaning process. You could have done the beams also by snapping between the top of the columns, but you know, it's a little more annoying since you have to do all of them. So again, I'm deleting all of those little guys. And again, I'm going to do one so you see precisely what it is. Hidden lines. Actually don't have one, I deleted already. So here, see that little piece there? That piece has to be deleted. This is also, these ones in the perimeter have to be deleted because we don't need them. And again, that's the piece that we're not interested in. Here is too. Okay, so I think right now we have a clean layout of beams. Good. Next step, structural plan. Let's create the structural plan. So the way we do this is, as you probably remember, is I'm going to go to view. I'm going to say plan views, and whenever you copy a level and you want to bring a new plan into the view, you normally say floor plan selected, and it comes to the view. Well, you can do that for structural plans as well. You select that option and you say, hey, I want actually the second floor. Actually, it's the first floor, but we have it there, so we don't need to do it. It says first floor and top of footing, so yeah, we could do top of footing. No, neither. I have them already, so that will be the way. If you don't have them here, just go to view, structural, and you select those two following these steps. No? Okay. Since I have them, I'm just going to double click on the first floor composite. It looks like this. If you haven't done this kind of step, in order to apply, you need to apply the template for structure. The way you see a structural plan is very different than the way you see a normal floor plan, architectural plan. So you say apply template, you select structural framing and say okay, and the same for this one as well. Right click, apply, structural framing, okay. Everything changes a little bit, and the thing is that you start seeing the beams properly, etc. So now the step is, how do we tag? Tagging is quite simple. Tagging, like putting dimensions or any other ingredient, is under annotate, and we need to say, hey, tag all. You tag all what? Structural framing tags. You say okay, and there you go. All those little squares saying exactly the x and y, or the horizontal and the height dimensions for each beam. Okay. If you did not delete those little pieces between the columns and the walls, you will have a little tag there. Let me see if I have one example. I don't have to clean it up. Oh, here it is. See that tag? It's talking about this beam. We obviously want to delete that, and with it the tag goes as well. Okay, clean. Good. Next step, duplicating as many times as we need depending on the span and changing the span, okay? So, for example, I'm going to do this large span, and for that I need to know the dimension. So very fast, I could use the other plan and check that it's 50 feet. So I need to go here and say 50 feet is down here, the span in feet, you know, and spanning inch is 600 divided by 16, and round up is 38, and divided by 2 is 1875, round up is 19. I need a beam which has a horizontal dimension of 19 and a vertical dimension of 8 or 38. 1938. Okay, if I go now and check my beams, selecting the beam here, I see that I only have 2 default settings, so I actually need to duplicate. So I'm going to edit this type, I'm going to duplicate, and if I remember well, it's 1938, no? You have 2 screens, but you know, you have to jump in and forth. 3819 is the dimension, okay? Say okay, and not because you rename it means that you have changed it. You have to change the B and the H. Those are the 2 real dimensions of that type, okay? So you select here 19 inches by 38 inches. Say okay, and that tag changes with it. Now I know all of these beams have that span of 50, so I can select every beam that has a 50 span and change it to that new duplicated type. Once you create it, it's down there, so there you go. I'm going to do another one as an example. I'm going to put a dimension here, and if I remember well, all of these columns, the ones that are in the middle, they span 20 feet. If we go to the chart, 20 feet is actually not 21, it's 20. It's going to be a 15-8 or 8-15. Okay, so we need to duplicate again because we don't have it. So I select it. I see whether I have it or not. No, I don't have it. Edit the type, and you duplicate. And again, it's 15 and 8 or 8 and 15. So you say 8 by 15, and you change it. 8 inches, 15 inches. Okay. Huh? Did I? Sorry. There you go. 8 by 15. And now you can select all of those that span precisely that dimension and change them to 8-15. Together, the tag changes, the dimensions change, etc., etc. Okay, you should do all of the beams following that calculation. There aren't that many. I would use 815 for the smallest dimensions. I would probably use these beams as the same. And start again, print dimensions 24, 10. It's going to be 25. You should always jump to the next level and say 19, 10. So they're pretty much highlighted here, those 2 dimensions that you have to deal with. So I think it's duplicate as many times as you need, depending on the spans you have, and you end up having the results properly done. Okay. At the end, this would be in a point similar to this one. We'll stop it there.